the price in Italy was 50% higher than the price of Ornellaia. So Ornellaia was €50 and Masseto was €75.
Oh my God, why didn't you call me then?
Yeah.
Giovanni, you are not my friend. I'm sorry. We are not friends.
Italian Wine Podcast. Chin Chin with Italian wine people.
Welcome to another installment of On the Road Special Edition, hosted by Stevie Kim.
Today, I have traveled to Bolgheri in the heart of Tuscany. We are going to be talking to Giovanni Geddes of Ornellaia Winery. Hello, everybody. My name's Stevie Kim, and this is the Italian Wine Podcast. And this is the continuation of our Bolgheri series, On the Road edition. And I'm here in front of me. It was kind of actually a last-minute thing. I came to Ornellaia for a tasting of 10 producers today. And guess I saw the security man. He was like fixing the door and whatnot, you know. And it turns out to be, of course, Giovanni Geddes da Filicaja. How do you say your name? Can you pronounce your name?
Geddes. Well, just Geddes da Filicaja.
Geddes da Filicaja. So, Giovanni, of course, you're the big cheese for Ornellaia. But give us a little bit history about yourself. Where are you from, first of all? What kind of name is that? Geddes da Filicaja.
Geddes is a Scottish name. It was my great-great-grandfather.
Oh, my goodness.
When he retired from the Royal Navy, he came to live in Florence. It was very fashionable in those days, 1855. And his son, Henry, married the last one of the da Filicaja family, very old family in Florence. And so she was the only one, and they added the name to the Geddes.
Okay,
so to cut down most of the other Geddes names, because there was Geddes of Raglan of King Court in Scotland.
It's a long story, right? Yeah, so you have this.
I am really the third generation Italian.
Third generation Italian.
Yeah.
Great. So, of course, you are one of the iconic, I would say, wine figure in the Italian wine history. So, of course, you started, I believe you started with Remy Cointreau.
I started in an import company, which was then, we sold it to Remy Cointreau in 1976. And so I went on as the CEO of that company. I was quite young, I was 31 in those days. Then Piero Antinori asked me to join Antinori as the CEO of the company.
Well, so basically you've only been CEO, you were born CEO.
Yeah, I wasn't really, no. I worked for 5 years or 4 years as employee, then manager, then general manager, and then CEO.
So, and then after working with Antinori, you came
I left Antinori at the end of 1994.
Why did you leave Antinori? I mean, Frescobaldi offered you more money. What was the deal?
No, it wasn't to do with Frescobaldi. We decided, Piero and me, that I've done my part with them, and Renzo Cottarella became the CEO of Antinori. Then I joined, I was just a consultant for several companies like Gancia, like Masi, like Rémy Martin.
Oh, okay, I missed that part. So you were a consultant before.
I was a consultant for a couple of years, yes. And as a consultant, I did the first agreement with Robert Mondavi Corporation in June 95. And from then they asked me to become the CEO of Frescobaldi, and I accepted.
And when was that? What year was that?
That was at the end, that was at the very beginning of 2007. Very beginning, 2097.
Right.
Now, 1997.
97.
1997.
Okay, because 2097 is still to become.
Still to come.
I hope I'll be alive by then.
What you'll be.
So I feel like, has anybody written a biography of you? Because I feel like there should be one, because it's really part of, I think, Italian wine history in a way.
Yes, it is.
So we don't have that much time, but because I know you're a very busy man, but why don't you tell us a little bit about your career from Ornellaia onward?
Well, Ludovico Antinori, who's the younger brother of Piero, asked me to help him reorganize the company, which was Ornellaia. Which was very difficult, because he was a fantastic man in terms of vision, but he had problems, managing people. And there was
This is Ludovico.
Ludovico. And so he really wanted to sell the company. Finally, the company was purchased by Mondavi at the very end of 99, actually the 1st of December 99. And Mondavi asked me to become the CEO of Ornellaia, which I told the Frescobaldi, and they said yes, okay. 2 years later, 2002, Ludovico left the company altogether.
Right.
And he was actually the president, but I had all the powers as a CEO. So he was only a figurehead. It's not. And he left the company altogether. He wanted to buy, and he actually bought some land very near the end of the Bolgheri dock, immediately next to that, and he started this new winery. In 2000,
The Tenuta Bizerno.
2004, Bizerno,
Right.
that's right. In 2004, the company Robert Mondavi Corporation was sold to Constellation Brands. And right at the beginning of 2005, we bought back the 50% of each company. Luce della Vite, which was the first joint venture we had done.
For the first JV, yeah.
Yes, and Ornellaia.
Why did you do that? Why was it something that you wanted, or Mondavi wanted, or?
Well, the Mondavi were out.
Right.
They were sold, and they had so the new management, Constellation,
Right.
the 50% of those shares.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
But it was
And,
something initiated from you or
That
from
was-
their side?
It was something initiated from us.
Right.
Well, actually, they offered us Luce immediately because it was a small thing, completely Italian and so on. Completely Italian, it was partly American. And the other one, there was a very tough negotiation for Ornellaia. But they were not looking at that company. It was a much smaller company in those days than it is today. And so we finally had an agreement and bought the 50%.
Great.
And then we could start, the consolidation of Ornellaia. The first thing I did was change the name of the company and call it Ornellaia and Masseto Società Agricola.
Why did you do that?
Because I wanted to an absolute separation between Ornellaia and Masseto. What would have happened anyway, was the fact that if you have a wine which is a much lower number of volume-wise and a much higher price, that becomes the number one wine, while the number one wine for Ornellaia was Ornellaia. So there was and Masseto was just a wine of the Ornellaia. So the idea was, first of all, to change the name of the company, not to put it under Ornellaia, Tenuta dell'Ornellaia. And second, to build its own winery and give it exactly, which was already determined, its own terroir. which used to be about 8 hectares, and it's now 12.5 hectares. And so by doing that, we also have a different management of the winery, which is still under Axel, because he's responsible
Axel
for
Heinz.
the whole. Axel Heinz is responsible for the whole production, but the management it was separated. Tim was doing Ornellaia, and Alex Belson went on doing just Masseto.
So this was a huge pivot, right? A huge milestone.
A milestone.
Yeah.
A milestone for Ornellaia, no doubt, but also a milestone for the Frescobaldi Group. Because Ornellaia, it's a very strong name all around the world.
Yeah, so I think in hindsight today, right? Of course, in Livex, Masseto is absolutely the king.
Yeah.
And then, of course, followed by Ornellaia and the others. But did you, now you can say, yes, I did that and it's hugely successful, both in terms of, the commercial value, but also in the brand positioning. But did you think that it would be this successful?
I thought it could be. I tried everything to make it happen. And my idea was to have a total quality of whatever we do. We had to have the best quality, production-wise, communication-wise. But if you produce a great wine or anything which is great, but you don't promote it, you don't present it. I don't mean promoting by discounting. I mean actual promoting, building the brand. It doesn't happen. So we put together a team of people that were very good at communication, very good at marketing, and very good at sales. And also we changed distribution for Ornellaia and for Masseto. So we said in 2006, with vintage 2006, I decided to go to the Place de Bordeaux and sell Masseto to the Place de Bordeaux, only keeping directly for ourselves Italy, US and Canada. The rest of the world was free for them. And there was a lot of discussion, especially in Bordeaux, because in Bordeaux they didn't want us so much. They said this is... Negos has been established by us since 200 years,
right.
So on and so on. Now they're all doing that because with Opus One, with all the wines of South America, they're doing,
Can you explain that? When you say they're all doing that, what are they doing exactly?
They are doing non-Bordeaux wines, distribution of non-Bordeaux wines. Opus One. It's one of the biggest wines sold by the Place.
Right. So it's a huge, economically driven
US only
business.
US is done directly, but all the rest is done by the Place de Bordeaux.
So do you think that was one of the key factors
That
in
was
this?
one of the key factors. I'll give you one data about Masseto. Masseto in 2005 was the price in Italy was 50% higher than the price of Ornellaia. So Ornellaia was €50 and Masseto was €75.
Oh my God! Why didn't you call me then?
Yeah.
Giovanni, you are not my friend. I'm sorry. We are not friends.
Nowadays, Ornellaia is 400. It's 110, and Masseto is €400.
Right.
So it's
Accelerated very, very
and
quickly.
even more so after we had our own winery, our own winemaker, and so on. So we had an actual separation of the two brands, and that gave us the opportunity of having a second wine, which is called Massetino. And it's going...
Yeah, tell me a little bit about the Massetino.
Massetino, we started very small. We decided to only sell it to the restaurants in Italy and in the United States. First vintage, 2017. Second vintage, Alex retired, and we decided that we wanted to sell it together with the Masseto. So it goes together with the Masseto with exactly the same.
But do you know, in Italian, there's this wonderful expression that it doesn't translate quite into English. It's like vorrei ma non posso, right? I mean, did you do that, Massetino, because of that? People who would have loved to try, access Masseto, but they can't because it's just it's not reachable.
Exactly. We wanted to have a wine with the name of Masseto, which is very recognizable because Massetino means
Small, yeah.
Small Masseto. For the restaurant, because Masseto is very expensive. So in the restaurant,
it's not an everyday wine, let's say.
It could easily be at $1,500 or something.
Sure, at the restaurants, and depending on the vintages, right?
Depending on the vintage. Much less than most French wines, much less, because our policy is never to stress the price altogether and never go down in price. So we can be flat, but we never want to go down. For us, it's more important the brand than the vintage. Okay, so we have the capacity in a great vintage like 15 and 16 to push up the price, but we don't go down again.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. But doesn't that really depend on the market, right? What they're willing to pay for?
Let's put it that way. The price of the great vintages pushes up much more.
15 and 16, for example.
But they buy everything anyway because the allocation is quite small.
Right.
We're doing about 35,000 bottles of Masseto in the market.
So talking about great vintages, for our listeners, the wine geeks, for the collectors, for example, what were, other than 15, in addition to 15 and 16, what were the other great vintages of Masseto?
Great vintages of Masseto. 2001, 2006, 2010, 15 and 16. Really great vintages. So if we have the capacity, we'll increase the price. If the vintage is not so well known, so well rewarded, and so on, we will keep the price, but we'll never lower the price.
And what about what is the current vintage?
The current vintage is just coming out on Tuesday.
Right.
It's 2018.
2018.
Yes.
Okay. And what about Ornellaia? Are they similar in terms of the benchmark vintages?
They are very similar. Very, very similar.
So like 2001, 15, 16, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes, absolutely. They're very, very similar.
So Giovanni, I have kind of a cheeky question, like maybe a little personal.
Yeah.
You've done like everything. I mean, you've done, you are the CEO of Antinori, hugely successful. You are now the CEO of what is the iconic,
Yeah.
So now, what do you want to do next? Are you going to retire? I mean, is it time to retire?
No, I'm not going to. I'm not going to retire now. No, I have accepted to be for the next 3 years. Well, 21, 22, and 23 as CEO of the group and CEO of Ornellaia.
So what is going to be your legacy? You already have a legacy, but let's say, what is your ambition?
To leave a very strong company with Ornellaia and Luce, which is doing very well, and to reinforce the brand of Frescobaldi. Frescobaldi is very well known in Italy, and he's doing a very good job. But the pillars, which are the wines of Frescobaldi, are not necessarily that strong. So the brand is very well known, but the pillars are not necessarily very, very strong. And they're strong maybe in different ways, in different countries and so on. One wine here, one wine there. So my commitment is to help Frescobaldi to make it stronger with some of the real pillars of wine.
So you're going to give a little bit more love to Frescobaldi. Is that fair to say?
Well, we have very good people in Frescobaldi.
Right.
We have a new general manager reports to me.
Who's the new general manager?
The new it's called Fabrizio Dosi.
Oh, I
He
don't know.
doesn't come from the wine.
Oh, he doesn't. Where does he?
He comes from Bulgari, from fashion business. From Bocconi, was professor at the Bocconi.
Do you know I'm a Bocconi? You can't tell, but I did my MBA in Bocconi. I don't know if that's good or bad. So
it's very structured. It's very up to the point. He understands finance. He understands sales. He's not a salesman himself, no, but he's very structured.
okay, great. Listen, so I know thank you so much for your time today. I literally ran into you upstairs, and I look forward to seeing you this evening. So,
Indeed.
What a great honor, Giovanni Geddes da Filicaja.
No, forget that Filicaja. It's too long.
I know, it's like some people have 3-4 names.
Geddes,
Giovanni Geddes. What an incredible career in the Italian wine world, and I'm glad he's sticking around for another few years. It's very good to have you with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Arrivederci. Ciao ciao.
Ciao, Stevie.
Ciao ragazzi. Ciao ciao.
And that's a wrap for this episode of On the Road Edition with Stevie Kim. If you enjoyed today's episode, please make sure that you've subscribed to our channel and check out our other travel videos too. You can also listen to our podcast version. For more information, check out www.italianwinepodcast.com.